Everybody, Dan here with Packroom, coming to you live Friday afternoon, as we always do.
Friday.
On Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. It's Friday. I need a pint. Today we're going to take a look at some Phillips beers here. Because I was just chatting with Jim, their CEO, on the phone, and he's just a lovely man. So
he is a lovely man.
Let's drink some Phillips.
Cool. Well, Dan. Give us some shout outs and things before we get this going here.
Okay, well, first of all, normally we give a shout out to John Roy, who is always our background beer drinking music. Today we're switching it up. For those of you not in Canada, everyone knows in Canada, there's a little band here called Tragically Hip, and it is essentially representative of everything Canadian. The lead singer, Gord Downey, unfortunately passed away a few days ago after a bit of a fight with cancer. So we're going to have a little Tragically Hip playing in the background. And if you like it, check them out, because they really are Canada's band.
Why? I got a couple things to say. So
yeah.
Why are they Canada's band?
For me, I mean, everyone can probably have different reasons. For me, it was, I really think Tragically Hip had a big possibility to go wide and become worldwide. A lot of bands or singers or hip hop artists that start in Canada, they leave Canada pretty quick as soon as they get big. These guys stayed there. They stayed in Canada, really only wanted to represent what Canada's about. So that for me is a big thing, is just the fact that they could have gone huge and international, but they just simply wanted to be kind of Canada's band. Another thing for me is Gord Downey. I mean, he's a poet in every sense of the right, but he's also, certainly towards the end of his life, a huge activist, and an activist that fought for Native rights, and really bringing a lot of it to light. He was just given the Order of Canada for this, given a number of different awards, and this was something that he really pushed forward, and always did in his career, but really pushed forward towards the end of his life, and I think that's very memorable.
For me, just jumping in here, the Tragically Hip, why they were so big for Canadians in general, is because they represented Canadiana as a culture. And everyone, and I mean literally everyone in Canada at some point, just based on the fact that the Tragically Hip was such a big deal, has memories and indelible memories made in their mind of an experience where the Tragically Hip was a big part. So for me, I know growing up a lot of the times at the cottage or a lot of times on the lake, you're always playing the hip. So you cognate and you identify these memories with this band. And losing that band in many ways, to a certain degree, kind of lessens your memories of it, because you know that guy's gone, and it's a very sad thing. And he's just, the country, honestly, and a lot of people like when Tom Petty died, for example. I wasn't really connected to Tom Petty, but I started now when this guy died to understand how people can be so upset when someone dies. Same thing with Michael Jackson. I never really was connected, but I was connected to Gord, and it was just one of those things. When he died, I knew it was coming. It sucked, and it hit me a lot harder than I thought I would get hit in the first place.
You don't see an artist like that. Certainly, when they pass, they affect a lot of people, but not a country.
Right.
That's kind of rare. I could equate this to if it was in the United States, maybe like Bruce Springsteen.
Right.
Yeah. So it's quite rare that happens.
No.
But,
it was tough. I got home, my wife was just, what's going on? Why is this out? I'm like, I don't know. It hit me. It rocked me a lot harder than I thought it would. Yeah. So,
I've seen this scene many times. This is a lot of times. This guy right here.
There you go.
And this guy's seen him, I think, 40-something times live. It's incredible.
Yeah.
But it's like that, and it's hit every generation since they started making music. They've hit every generation, including the young generation now. Everyone listens to the hit.
Yeah.
It's just what you gotta do. So. But I need to drink a beer.
All right, buddy.
Let's toast to this man.
So we said that we chatted with the owner of Phillips, so that's why we're doing Phillips today. Danny, tell me a little bit about all 5 of these beers.
Sure. This is their Pilsner. Pilsner is quite similar to a lager in that sense. It's a bottom fermenting yeast, easy to drink, something that's hard to do consistently. And this is quite a nice one, a little more hoppier than your normal Pilsners, which is great.
Right.
This next one is their Kolsch, and a Kolsch is it's actually an ale yeast that they use, so it's a top fermenting yeast. But it is similar.
And then it's cooled down and lagered too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it is similar in flavors to Pilsners and lagers, despite being an ale yeast.
Okay.
What do we got here next?
Shortwave
West Coast Pale Ale, West Coast in a bottle. A lot of things that you see out here. in Vancouver and the Pacific Northwest. Wonderful big hop flavors, nice little malty finish.
We did a contrast between the Slipstream and the Shortwave last week. The Slipstream was a lot more malt forward, if I do remember.
Yep.
Pale was a little bit more hoppy on the back of the nose, but both were still very nice beers.
Yeah.
And finally, the Hop Circle. Dan?
Hop Circle is their big kind of mainstream IPA. They do a ton of IPAs, but this is their kind of mainstream one that they bottle, they can, and they keg.
Okay.
It's a big one. I think it's like 75 IBUs. It's big, huge hop flavors up front, and it lasts you all day long with them hop flavors. It's good stuff.
Lovely lineup.
Yes. I need a beer. Let's go with, we're going to start with the Pilsner.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Do it.
Going to the crack. Nice twist off. Easy to use. Industry standard bottle. Going to the slow-mo pour.
That's light. Nice straw color.
Oh, yeah.
Not too much of a thick head either.
Nope.
Light carbo. I do want some nuts here. Alright, anyway. You
You
take this
yeah,
one.
I get the big one.
Yeah, you always get the big one.
Yeah, that big one.
Alright.
To
Cheers, brother. To Gordo.
Cheers, brother.
Oh, that would be really good with peanuts. What do you think?
Yeah, nice and clean. A bit of a vanilla kind of flavor to it. A little sweet, a little malty finish. Not too much in the hops. It's great. Something you can drink all day long. Love it. It's a great beer.
Cool.
Yeah. It's one of those, it's one of those pilsners or lagers that's done by a great craft beer company that just has enough interesting flavor to it where it's not a mainstream and you can tell it's craft, but you can still just drink it all day long. So, great stuff.
Cool.
Great stuff.
While I drink this, talk to me. What's new? Tell me about your life.
I'll tell you about my day.
Yeah.
Being in the international craft beer distribution business, you spend a lot of time doing things like paperwork and getting things notarized and going to the Canadian Food Inspection Agency. And lucky enough, I got to do that twice today.
You went there and you came. You went there. You came back, and
Yep.
then immediately you left again. Why?
Yes. So I went there. So what you got to do is you got to get two documents notarized. One being the certificate of origin, the other being the manufacturer's declaration of export. And I got to go get those notarized, which is like $40 a piece, which is great. And then I just walk on over, which is quite close, to the Canadian Food Inspection Agency. Drop that off, and then I got a call saying that my paperwork was wrong. And
Nice.
It wasn't just a bit wrong. Now they'll call you and you got to redo it if there's just a couple teeny things wrong. It was a lot wrong that I did today. I put all the different breweries on one.
It was also your first time doing it.
It was my third time, but yes. But the first two times I was just dealing with one brewery. So, anyways, so no problem. A lovely lady explained what I did wrong, and then I had to go redo the paperwork, go to the notary, get it notarized, then go to the CFIA office, and drop it off again. So I got to do that, and I did that all before 12:30.
And what market was this for?
This is heading out to Singapore. To
Singapore.
our boy Scotty, and Scotty is with he's got an awesome little company there called Canadian Craft Beer. And Scott's got a great story because Scott went to Singapore, met his beautiful wife, decided to stay. He teaches English till about noon every day, and he was bored. They got a couple kids now and stuff, but the kids, went off to school and they're in preschool and stuff. So he got bored, and the man is a craft beer lover in every sense of the word. And so it's like, I need to start importing some beer. So he started working with a couple companies, Central City and Flying Monkey. And he's been doing that for about a year, and it started out as a pound. Then it was 2 pounds. Then it was half a container. Then it was a container. And he's just so naturally grown this business, and I love everything he does. He might not be, the best at the administrative work and the business side of things, but my word is he a good salesman, I gotta say, because he's just got so much passion for the product. So we met him, instantly jumped on board. We wanted him to take our products, and he is, and we're sending our first 20 foot out there, and looking forward to him getting that.
That's exciting. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about Singapore, the market. What do you think of it? I'm curious.
It's a great craft beer market. It's very expensive.
Yeah.
So a couple things with Singapore. First, right off the bat, Singapore's only so big. It's an island, and it's 40 kilometers wide, and so you can only expand so much. Now it's a incredibly beautiful, clean, expensive country. It's funny. As soon as we first few days we were there, we kind of look at each other and we go, "This is basically like a warm Vancouver," and that's really what it feels like.
Vancouver with palm trees.
It's Vancouver with palm trees, and but with it, so majority of the craft beer is imported there, and once you import, fees hit it, and then it goes through a distributor. They need to make some money, and then it goes to the bar owner, and it is incredibly expensive to rent some space there. A lot of the big craft beer bars there, or the high-end craft beer bars anyhow, they're actually inside air-conditioned malls, these beautiful malls that they have, and it's crazy expensive. I think one place where we spent a lot of time, which was Tap Beer Bar, that was maybe 1,500 square feet, maybe a little bit bigger, and it was probably $25,000 a month to rent.
Yeah.
So by the time, that's where the big increase comes. So when you order a pint in Singapore, watch out, because it can be anywhere from $15 US to about $30 US a pint.
Yeah, it gets you. It gets you real quick.
Incredibly expensive. So it got crazy busy there one night because they were doing $10 beer nights, and that was for 16-ounce beers, $10 16-ounce beers, and there was a lineup down the aisle there. So
right.
But it's a small market in Singapore. It's maybe about 1 to 1.5% of the beer market, and people know what they're doing there though. When you have a market where only about 1% are drinking it, but it's really driving that market. These people actually really know what they're looking for. And it's not just expats as well. It's a lot of people born and raised in Singapore. Mm-hmm. It's also kind of seen as, the same reason somebody might order a Corona or a Heineken, where it's a bit of a badge there. So if you are drinking craft beer, that means that you're doing very well for yourself. If you're spending $15 a pint or $20 a pint, it means it's a status thing as well. It means you're doing well. But the nice thing about craft beer is that then you get to talk about it, enjoy it, and it's a discussion piece, right? So that's what you see a lot of. And you don't see people drinking it all night and going all night. It tends to be for an hour or two after work. And people work so hard there, this is similar to Hong Kong, people work so hard there that they kind of work 7 days a week. They don't want to get out and get plastered, but it's almost like every day or every second day they go out with coworkers or friends just for a beer or two.
Right.
And that tends to kind of be the market there. So,
okay.
A lot of the retail side, very small. A lot of the retail is actually delivery, where you can order 12 beers and they'll come to your door. But mind you, those 12 beers would probably be about $100. But that would be the same as if you were buying it at the grocery store.
Cool. I think we're on to the next one.
Are we?
Well, I'm really parched, and you're talking very, very slowly. So there's that.
Oh yeah, I love beer.
What are we doing? Kolsch.
Let's do Kolsch.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's go back to the differences between the two. Kolsch is certainly seen in the same light as Pilsners and lagers. It is different in the sense that it's a different yeast, so you will be getting some bigger flavors in there. So it is that ale yeast. Another good thing about a Kolsch is if it's an ale yeast, it's going to be about half the time to brew than a lager. Lagers and Pilsners take a long time to brew. Ales are about half the time. So it might be, you might start seeing more out there simply because it's actually a cheaper brew. If it's faster, it's cheaper. So time is money, people.
Great.
Let's go to it. Let's see what we got here though. Analog crush. I like what they call it, analog, and they kind of get the record there. And it's about music. It's music, man. Analog.
Phillips is very much so about
Very
music.
much so.
Music and environmentally friendly, I would say.
Yes. Even their labels are made with 100% recycled.
I did not know this.
You should know that.
Well, now I do.
Yes. Well, you can kind of tell because their labels are. They don't look cheap, but they look kind of worn in that sense. And that's why they do it. And that's the same reason they use the industry standard bottle. This is better for the environment. These suckers are used like 12 to 13 times.
Cool.
Yeah.
So we're on number 2 of 5. Heyo.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Gordo.
Salud.
Yeah, a little lemony notes right up the top there.
Yep. Still clean.
Yeah, very clean. I would say there's a little more to it. What is it? I would actually say that this is probably the more easy drinking one than the Pilsner. Yeah, a little cleaner. There's a little bit of that kind of...
It's definitely sweeter. The sugars are obviously...
Yeah, it's a little bit of a lingering finish. But it's like this smooth kind of velvety finish. You know, it's almost like a... how can I describe it? Caramel mixed with lemony flavors. It's very nice. It's very nice.
It is.
Again, you can drink it all day long. everything with always with Kolsch's and Pilsners and lagers, it's always going to be very subtle notes because it is that easier. Like, unless, you're getting big Pilsners like Pilsner or Quell or, even Steam Muscle makes a pretty good Pilsner.
We'll also say shout out to the boys.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
We got a couple of guys who's working at Steam Muscle that we know. Steam Muscle is this
got
guy.
Mr. Adam Rand, who I believe is
They
the
do
director of
one
sales.
beer and they do it very well.
They do it
It's a
very,
Pilsner.
very well. Yeah, it's an interesting concept. They got a brewery right downtown Toronto, and they do that. They do one beer really well. Their bottle is super unique and big and heavy, and their packaging is unique. The beer is fantastic. It's a bigger Pilsner, quite a bit more hops to it. But they do that one beer. What other brewery can you think that does? All
Nobody.
the breweries do tiny.
Nobody.
And they do one, and they do very well with it. So
It is a great beer.
it is.
Yeah.
It is. Their packaging is outstanding.
I love this
their
too.
secondary packaging, like the cases they come in. And you see the reps around here. Their reps drive super old retro pickup trucks and stuff like that. Everything they do is high end, and they do it very well.
Yeah.
So,
I would like to talk about Hong Kong.
Hong Kong.
Because we just are shipping there now. So, officially.
yes, we have a few pallets heading up to Hong Kong. Hong Kong is a great market. If you're heading through Asia and you have a chance to make a little stop in Hong Kong, even if you got like a 6 or 8 hour layover, just get out of there, go into the what district?
Lang Kwai Fong?
Lang Kwai Fang district.
Not even, but sure.
Not even close.
No.
No, look it up.
Sure.
It's this awesome little district. It's maybe like 3 blocks, and there is just awesome craft beer in every single bar that you go into. It's really cool. And the interesting thing about Hong Kong is it's a free market. Okay, it's an open market. So for someone like us, when we import beer into Singapore, that price of that beer pretty much doubles due to fees and customs and stuff like that. Hong Kong stays the same. So what you get is a lot of expats opening up bars, and when they open up bars, they want to import their own beer because it's very simple and very cheap to do.
Right.
So you've got a ton of different craft beers from the UK, from all over Europe, from all over America. Now you got a bunch in there from Canada as well. So you've got like literally hundreds of different craft beers in this few block radius, and there's literally hundreds of people drinking there. So there's almost like one brand per person. So extremely saturated market, but a fun market. There's this one street that you can hang out on, and they're not really bars. They're more like they kind of open their doors, and there's a few fridges and a bar, and you just drink on the street. And so everyone mingles around the street, and you can go to whatever bar and pick up whatever beer, and you just hang out in the street, and you just shoot the shit and talk beer the whole time. It was awesome. That was my favorite night in Hong Kong we had, and it was just totally out of the blue. But yeah, I had a great time. Who were we with?
Keep going. Keep talking about Hong Kong.
Who were we with in Hong Kong? We were with a guy who's a brewer, and what does he do? He does 7 brews. Hashtag 7 brews, add 7 brews.
Shin Scott? Or Shiz Scott?
I forget, I feel bad.
Shiz Scott on Instagram.
But he showed us a
100%.
great time, man. We went out and had a quick pint and a meeting with him, and then we went over to that little district and just drank beers. We had a great night. We got a little tipsy that night too, didn't we?
I was wasted. I got a couple of really good photos of you from there too.
You did bad things on the way home, didn't you?
I did not. I'm a good boy.
Not really bad.
I got a really good photo with that. Where's that DJ from Toronto that we know? Do you remember that DJ? He played at the Miller event. DJ Scratch Bastard.
Yeah.
I have a photo of you in front of the Scratch Bastard event poster.
That's right.
In Hong Kong, and you were blitzkrieged.
That's right.
It's a really good photo.
Yeah, I was wasted. Well,
Yeah.
there's so many beers to try. That's a problem when you get to somewhere like that. Like there's all these amazing craft beers from all over the world, and it's almost like this great little hub in the middle of Asia and Hong Kong that just happens to have like one street of all these crazy beers are on.
Yeah.
And where do you start? You just got to keep trying, right?
If you were, I'm going to tag them right now, guys. So if you are ever in Hong Kong and you're in Lai Kwai Fong, there's a place called The Globe. It's in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
It's 2 British guys started it. I just tagged them. It's at The Globe HK.
Mm-hmm.
These guys do it very well. Greatest selection of beers, but the environment is... It's almost like an actual British pub. And I'm speaking from Canadians. In Vancouver, a lot of people try and do a British pub. And
Yeah,
you know what I
that
mean?
was
They
pretty
don't really quite nail it. And this one did. Like, it's just, it's perfect.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And they have, I think there's 20 different rotating taps.
Yeah.
Great food on the menu. And honestly, still relatively reasonably priced.
Yeah.
I was really impressed. So check that out.
That was fun. Hong Kong is awesome. I really enjoyed Hong Kong. That was cool.
Oh, I really like the Kolsch. It's definitely sweeter. There's still a lot of sugars in there at the base. Cool.
One thing I like about Hong Kong, and Hong Kong is another place. Hong Kong is your kind of classic, Asian city where, okay, first of all, here in North America, of all the beer drank, about probably 85% of that is from a retail environment. So you're picking it up at a grocery store, you're picking it up at a liquor store, okay? Canada and US are pretty much on par with that, about 85%. You go to a place like Hong Kong, and about 90% of the market is all drunken bars or restaurants. Because everyone is packed in so tight that everyone's places are quite small. So you don't have these big backyards to have get-togethers. You don't have these big living rooms where you can have a whole bunch of people in and you're drinking with friends and stuff like that. You go out. And also you go out, I mean, it doesn't have to be a fancy place. You go out to these, I like to call them patio furniture places. If you've ever traveled around South Asia, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's great food. Foods normally cost you, the food's a couple bucks. A beer's
Hawkers,
and you sit on plastic furniture and the food's like that, but it's outstanding. It's great. It's amazing food. And that's where beer's drunk, and that's where you get the big bottles and stuff like that on the table. Craft beer is a little different because that's just done in the kind of high-end craft beer bars.
but I feel like your experience to Hong Kong would not be the same without taking the tunnel or the tube, going to the other side of the thing by the stars, and actually going to the hawker bars there.
Yes, and that's where we stayed, and we did that on purpose. All of our meetings were down in the business district there, but we stayed kind of by where the hawker stalls are and stuff like that. And the thing is,
that's our vibe.
You walk down one street of hawker stalls, and you've seen them all because it's all selling the same crap. It's all the knockoff stuff. I think I saw Herschel in there, really called Herschel. So it was funny, and we were actually joking around and said, you've made it when your shit's getting ripped off at a hawker stall.
Yeah.
So
shout out to the boys at Herschel. We love you too. Anything else, big guy? Did you want to do all 5 or just let's stick for 2? We gotta drive.
Yeah, let's stick to 2.
Well, I've already had one. So we did again the difference between this Phillips Pilsner and the Kolsch. We talked about this being a lager yeast and this being an ale yeast. This being cooled down before it's actually lagered. Lots of cool things. Talked about 2 of our markets. I think that's good for now. Guys, we love you. Shout outs to Steam Whistle. Shout outs to Phillips. Shout outs to you in Hong Kong and Singapore. Packer and Beer Club. Send us a DM. #Packer and Beer Club. And we will shoot any of these beers that you would like right to you, directly to you, via DHL, delivered, duty paid. So you pay nothing. But you got to give us a review. That's the exchange.
Anyways, if you like us, give us a thumbs up. Guys, happy weekend. Happy Friday. Have fun out there. Be safe. Drink beer.
Ciao.
Cheers.